Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and welcome to Gon With The Wind, a Hunter podcast. So your hosts are myself, Rooflemonger, and
Hi everyone, I'm BABERUTHLESS. For those of you who don't know me, I make video essays on the internet about fighting games. Like whether it be the little tiny miscellaneous topics, honestly, like stages or like music, or just, whatever catches my fancy. Basically everything except the actual fighting itself, which I suck at. But how are you doing today, Rooflemonger?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic even. So yeah, fighting games. So before we even get into it, and yes, covering Hunter, the anime, 2011 version, by the way. We're gonna get into it, but yeah, we're very much on the fighting game end of things. So if you are more, just from the general anime community, just to know where we're coming from. So there is a Hunter fighting game, Nen Impact, coming out not too long from now, sometime in July, I think. And
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it because I like, silly tag-based games, which that is. But I do not know the first thing about the Hunter franchise. I didn't even know the name of the characters. Like, above here, Gon With The Wind. I thought it was Gon. I thought his name was Gon. Turns out it's Gon. So, like, I ruined the title of the show before it even began, right? But I'm interested in the characters. I'm interested in the world because I'm the kind of person who likes getting invested in characters. So, we're going to watch this crazy anime. And thankfully, our host here is helping out because she's a Hunter expert.
Okay, honestly, so yesterday we recorded a little bit of a teaser trailer, which you posted. I don't know when this episode is coming out, but which you posted right before we're recording this current episode. And while I was watching that video, I was like, dang, like I really should have like sold myself more. Like I should have been like, yeah, I am the Hunter expert. Like you're gonna want to fucking watch this podcast. And then afterwards, like on this episode, been like, just kidding. Like, I love Hunter, but I'm not like an anime YouTuber or something like that.
Well, you're going to
So
be
I
by the end of this.
wish
So.
I had, yeah, well, 100% right. I've only watched, honestly, up to the first 10 episodes so far. So, well, currently, like, obviously I watched it before,
You're
earlier
rewatching.
on, but
Yeah.
yes, I'm rewatching it currently. So, yeah, hopefully we're gonna have a lot of good conversations here. But yeah, I just want to preface this by saying, if you're here despite my intro, y'all are one of the real ones. So it's much appreciated.
So yeah, how we're doing this, we're just mostly gonna have back forth, and this will be the format going forward. Once again, just set the ground rules. I myself, first time, never watched the show before. I don't know anything about the characters, so I'm going completely blind. And BR here, she's already watched. She already knows everything, right? So it's gonna be my sounding board. And just to make some people mad out of the gate, because we'll make more people mad later, I am watching the dub. Just so you know, I prefer the dub. Thank you very much for almost everything.
Okay.
And some anime credentials. Just to throw it out there, just so you don't get scared later, I'm old. I'm 40 years old. I started watching anime in the mid-90s. And mostly kept through anime until about the early-ish 2000s. So I do not like a lot of modern anime. Just because, like, we had this discussion here in the previous show, too. Like, isekai, right? The fact that that's a genre now, you can just say that's a genre, and don't just call it, like, a hack sign ripoff. That's what we used to do. Like, I don't like that. I don't like most of those. I don't like a lot of modern anime as it is. My favorite anime of all time is Evangelion. And by a lot. I can talk, like, we could do this show in reverse and do Eva, and, like, I have 2 hours per episode to talk about. So, yeah, I'm an old school anime fan, not so much new school. But I'm going in with open eyes, right? I know enough that it's a shonen anime. We'll get into it more. We get to Gon's definitely, like, to me, he reads as like a Goku analog in a lot of ways. Very, pure of heart, although not necessarily as duplicitous as Goku. And here, when it comes to my opinions, I have non-standard opinions on a lot of things. Like Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is one of my favorite franchises. And my most hated character in Dragon Ball is Goku. And already I know you're like, wait a second, how can you not like Goku? Well, that's the kind of guy I am. I love Dragon Ball. Goku's the worst part of the show. And a lot of Super is very vindicating in that, by the way, because Goku did not account well for himself in Super. But yeah, we're going to get into it. So the idea here is we're going to go through a certain amount, no set amount of episodes right now. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 episodes per episode. And we're just going to go through the general plot and story. And we're going to be talking about the characters and just what's going on. So today specifically, we're going to do the first 7 episodes. And I guess let's get into it from there. So the first episode, I do got the name written down here, Departure and Friends. And before we get into it directly, I'll have my discussion. But I also have, which I'm sure will not read on the video version in the least, I do have my hot take notes. In that, I'm writing down notes as I'm watching the show. And these are a lot more, or rather a lot less, charitable than like later thoughts as I've had to form. But yeah, we'll get into it. So first episode, Departure and Friends. What do you think about it?
Well, wait, actually, before we even get into that, first of all, I just want to go back to something you said earlier.
Okay.
Why specifically did you want to watch the dub over the sub? Because in my experience, I feel like most anime fans are very much sub people. At least that's just generally the vibe I get. So interested to hear your take on why specifically the dub. Or maybe if there's no reason at all, that's fine too.
I
but just
specifically, like, I don't call me fluent Japanese because I'm not, right? But I spent too much of my formative years in learning Japanese stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I got a decent understanding of the language. Like, about as much as I do French. I'm born and raised in Quebec, by the way. And no, French is not my first language. I'm Anglo. But, so a lot of the times people say, like, you know, they're just as bad actors in Japanese. And I ascribe by that theory. I don't think it's any more pure or any more better in Japanese. There's definitely dubs that are bad in English. Bad. Like, you talk about, you know, some of the older anime like Golden Boy. That's a train wreck. Right? But, for here, like, and I think, to me, English is the default I listen to for the most part, unless I strongly believe one way or another that's better one way or another. But especially in the modern day, I find English is just good enough. Like, it ain't the early 90s anymore. Like, you have actual people who are good at what they're doing. And for me, especially, you know, in the 90s, a lot of times when you can get the VHSs, like, you didn't have much of a choice. You either got the official dub, and you could never hear the Japanese version, or you got like the weird hard subbed VHS copy and you could never hear the English version. You did not get to choose. You were just took what were given to you, right? So all things airing equally, I'd tend to lean on the side of dubs because I speak English.
Okay. Got it. Interesting. I feel like my natural tendency is just to listen to the subs, and I don't know why specifically. I think in particular with Hunter x Hunter, well, when you said you were watching the dub, I switched to using the dub just so we have the same frame of reference moving forward. But I will say some of the voices really, I don't know, kind of caught me off guard. Like, there's nothing wrong, for example, with Killua's voice, but there's just something about it to me that sounds a little bit better in the 1999 anime or like the Japanese sub version. So personally, I can go either or, but my preference generally is for subbed when it comes to like just watching anime in general. But yeah, no, it's interesting to hear your opinions on dubbed. I know that with like there's definitely some wild ones that are roaming out there, like ones for like Hetalia or like ones for like what's that really crazy one where like they just went off the rails, like
Ghost stories,
tales, ghost stories, yeah, where it's just like,
see, that's a triumph of the dub over the original source material. That's where it's just better.
Yeah, just absolutely.
But yeah, like some of the characters are just like already like we're not too far in, and we'll do more. Like we'll get to it when we get to him. But Hisoka, right? In English, he sounds like a smarmy, creepy effer. And that already feels like the right voice for him, you know, like
which he definitely is. He definitely is. But everyone loves him anyways, so.
But yeah, so that little detour. So yeah, first episode, Departure and Friends. Any lead up you would like to give to that episode?
So in terms of actually watching the first episode, so while I was doing the preparation for this podcast, I actually went back and I watched the 1999 anime, which I have not seen, by the way. So I literally just watched like the first episode or two of the 1999 anime. And so moving into the 2011 one, it was really quite interesting because I think tonally it starts off very different. And you can also tell in the two openings for the different shows. So like the 1999 anime opening, there's like you see the main cast and they're like underneath a tree and it's like I think it's like nighttime and then they're all doing like different little day-to-day tasks. Whereas in the 2011 anime, like I'm sure you saw the opening, it's very much like big shonen energy. You see like different characters and then you see them doing their little actions, cutscenes, like the very typical like shonen anime opening. And so when I watched the 2011 anime, I just immediately was struck by like how different tonally the two had opened up. And even though I haven't watched that much of the 1999 anime, like I could definitely tell some of the setting up of like why Gon is the way he is. And I might slip up and say Gon, by the way, because I
to me I only ever heard him as Gon, so that's what I'm going with. But like once again, the original name of the show is supposed to be Gon with the Wind. That's what I thought, and then actually heard his name pronounced. I'm like, oh, gotcha. But yeah, you spoke of the intro here, so through the magic of technology, we got a little bit of a scene switch here. So my hot take notes when I first started just watching the intro. This is the season 1 intro, right? And I wrote Digimon-ass intro. Now, granted, I haven't watched Digimon in many years. I don't remember too well. But that's the vibe I got from it. Like, kids, we're having fun, we're having an adventure, doing the thing where like we're running, super tropey, right? Everyone's having a running to like a thing, running toward the destiny. And so like I got that vibe, like okay, like fun time adventures. That's the vibe I got. And hang on a second here. So my hot take notes also. Then I immediately wrote Pokemon ass intro right afterwards. So I'm already shifting like mid intro from Digimon to Pokemon. There's like the adventure aspect of everything that's going on here. And then I'm not sure why I wrote this, but I wrote Spider Riders. If you do not know Spider Riders, it's not a good show, but it has a hell of an intro, by the way. And then immediately, so we go into it, right? And that part's too bright and showing up on the screen. There we go. We go into it, and so starts off like humble town, humble life. I immediately write down, oh, it's Gon, not Gone, as you hear it pronounced, right? And you definitely get the vibe right away. Okay, so this is like laid back. That's my immediate presentation, like super laid back. And also immediately my vibe I got out of this is Gon is the chosen one.
Okay, interesting. I would argue that's not necessarily the case. I think he has a lot of abilities from the very start, like his physical strength, that make him stand out as a person. But
he's already the strongest human in the world in our first presentation, right? And then they're doing a thing like, oh, he knows how to use leverage against this big fish and all that. He's a smart wild boy. He's like Gao from Final Fantasy VI, but with brains. Something like that, right?
Well, he has a lot of the strength.
My immediate hot take is he's the chosen one.
So, sorry, I interrupted you earlier, but I kind of disagree a little bit with that because yes, he does have the strength. He does have a lot of things that kind of make him above like how an ordinary human would really operate. But in that first episode, if I'm remembering this correctly, like when he's trying to catch that, what is it, King of the Lake or whatever?
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's General Sherman, right? That's the Simpsons.
Right. I mean, he's not able to do it until he actually uses his brain and he thinks creatively to be able to use the tree as leverage to pull it in. So yes. I would argue it's not that he's like, I mean, he does have some advantages for sure, but he also knows how to use his abilities to.
Yeah, he's clever for sure. He's like clever for a kid, right? But that fish is also like 4,000 pounds. So like,
I mean, yeah, but this is anime. So.
Yeah, I know, right? But I'm just going by the vibe I'm getting.
Okay, fair.
And like, so once again, I mentioned at the beginning, you might find some of my opinions contentious if you're at home watching or listening. And I don't know if I love going out of the gate. There's the thing I'm going to say out of the gate, right? Like we got a lot of show to go through, so things will change. So. They do the things like, oh, okay, so they talked about his dad. His dad was a hunter, right? And he wants to be a hunter because his dad was a hunter. And he abandoned him straight up. So I can't remember if his caretaker, like I'm going to say it's his aunt. I'm not sure if it's like directly blood related, like if it's his brother or his father's sister or not. I just say his aunt. It just makes sense to me. But he's like, your dad left you. And in the dub specifically, I have this in quotes. Well, when talking about a hunter, right? Must be an awesome job if it's worth leaving his kid. And like,
yeah, I think he literally says that.
That's a take to have, like that's, you would think you would have like some adversarial relationship with the father, perhaps. I'm going to teach my no good dad for leaving me by doing what he did better. Right. And instead of that, it's like, no, my dad's sick. He was right to abandon me. Like good on him. Really. Yeah. I hope to do it to my kid later. Like that's the vibe I'm getting out of this. So that's already what I like. I'm kind of like not in love with him. If we go to the hot take notes. Okay, one second here. Leverage, smart kid. Oh, I was not, he was a little too happy with himself after getting the fish. So I wrote smiling, fuck him. Woman, no want him hunter. I write like a caveman, by the way. Woman, no want him hunter. I guess that's bad. Bad dad abandoned him. Never mind he's a fucking idiot and thinks his dad rules for leaving him. That's the hot take notes.
Okay, interesting.
So are you on the Gon defense force this early on here?
Well, I let me just start off by saying, like, I really like him as a character. Like,
I'm sure by the end of this I'll love him, but I can only take it as I'm given right now.
No, that's fair. And I think how he shows up in the initial episodes is very much someone who has a lot of childlike innocence, who maybe doesn't quite understand, like, oh, my dad left me, like, that's a bad thing, right? He's like, no, he's more so like takes it as more of a straightforward thing where he's like, actually, like, being a hunter must be this really great thing, to the point where, like, now that's like what I want to do.
He definitely presents as like, I'm a simple boy that ain't got no learning. Right.
But you do see little hints of that, like with the moment with the leverage in the fish. And I think especially, again, I don't want to like, maybe it's just because like I know where the series is going. That's why I'm kind of like reading back into the past.
You just lost your audio here for a second.
Like, oh, sorry.
Oh, you just came back. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Might have just hit the
where
gate.
Where did I leave off? Sorry.
We're doing it live, folks. Yeah, we're doing it live.
Okay. Okay, I'll just go back to what I was saying before, which is that I don't know if maybe I'm just reading into it based on what I know of him in the future, but Gon himself is like, he has this like childlike innocence in a world that is very much adult and dark and very just depressing in a lot of ways. And so that, like with, for example, with Dragon Ball, like, yes, everything, like Goku, he's a bit of a dumb oaf, but everyone around him, like, the characters are kind of goofy, and like, yes, people die, but then like they come back to life with like the Dragon Balls or whatever. So it's never really an anime that like takes itself like too much down the dark and gritty path, where I feel like Hunter x Hunter, it goes in that, and I don't want to get into it too much, but it does go in like a different direction than Dragon Ball. Are you losing me again?
Oh, I got you back.
Okay.
I think your microphone might be a little bit closer because like the gate's not hitting.
Okay, let me bring it closer.
There we go. Once again, we're doing this live, folks. We're doing this live.
But yeah, that's all to say, like, Gon is like, his innocence, it's not that him as a character I think is anything special, but his innocence really stands out in a world that is very much not innocent and not bright and cheery. Like,
we're definitely going to cover that coming up here, because these hunter exams are insane. And he's a little too innocent, where he's not blinking an eye at the mass death that is about to be in front of him. And to be fair, no one else is either, right? This is a cold, uncaring world, is my hot take on the matter right now. But yeah, so that's my initial take on Gon, right? So we're gonna do the hunter thing. They go on the boat or whatever, and we meet other characters, Leorio and Kurapika. And my hot take notes here. I do rude boat dudes, because not everyone's very nice. Oh, yes, and this comes up multiple times later, I believe. Gon has like special smelling powers. He can just smell better than everybody else. And then I wrote Pikachu. Oh, yes, Pikachu. Because Kurapika and Leorio. So the one, I guess, advanced knowledge I have of this franchise is when I see characters show up, I'm like, oh, they're in the fighting game. So I'm like, those guys are in the fighting game, so they must be important, right?
Yeah, they're right here.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So if you're not in the fighting game, I'm not going to say I'm going to dismiss them as a character, but I'm immediately like devaluing them as a character, because if I don't see you in the fighting game trailers, I'm like, well, then you can't be that important, right? That's the way I'm looking at it right now. Like, I could be dead wrong. Could be like super critical character later. I'm like, well, I don't give them two thoughts, and it turns out like the whole plot hinges on them. But yeah, so the initial impressions is Leorio has like a major stick up his ass, and Kurapika is like turbo edgelord. Is like the initial impressions I get of these characters.
Okay, I think those are not entirely inaccurate assumptions. I actually think those are pretty good in terms of like just basic characterization. And what I will say about the Hunter Nen Impact cast, just going back to what you said earlier, is that like even the Hunter cast really centers around just a couple of main characters. So pretty much everyone on this roster, outside of like Kurapika, Leorio, Gon, Killua, like the main people, they're kind of just side characters. Like some of them I don't even know why they really put them into the game. Maybe because they have like their powers are explained a little bit more in depth in the show. But yeah, I anyways, just going back, I don't think your assumptions of those characters are wrong, but then as you get to later episodes, obviously you see like there's kind of a subversion of character.
Yeah, grand truths will be revealed in time, I'm very sure.
Exactly. But yeah, initially I agree.
Oh yeah, and they're surprised, like they're on the boat and it's like, oh, the hunter exam has just begun. And in the episodes we're going to cover, even like each time it's like, okay, we did it. It's like, no, now the real hunter test begins. No, now the real hunter test begins. And it feels like it just keeps happening. Like, no, all that was bullshit. That was all fake. This is the real hunter test. And so we get that literally in episode 1 when the guy boasts like, this is phase 1 of the test. And like everyone else seems like kind of a bum. It's like this, I don't expect them to get far. The one thing, Leorio and Kurapika are like at each other's necks immediately. Is like, show me respect, and is like, God, is it called the Kurta clan?
Yes, that's Kurapika's clan.
And it's like, well, I'm the Kurta clan, so you got to feel bad for me. And he's like, I don't care about these Kurta dogs, these Kurta pigs. And at one point, it's like near the end, but like Leorio like pulls a knife on all of them or something like that. And then I'm like, okay, this guy's kind of sick. Like, he's willing to pull a knife on like 10-year-olds or however old these characters are, right? Just because like they won't respect him as their elder. I'm like, you know what? Give me another couple of years, I might be there in my life myself, So like I dig that. But the episode doesn't seem like much from there. Like it's just like they do the thing where like there's like a rogue wave or some nonsense, right? And it's like, oh, they fight, but Gon saves the day, and then everyone's friends, and then we just kind of go from there. Like, it seems like, basic team building 101.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's accurate. I think a lot of the earlier episodes are just setting up the world and the characters and the team, and I think it's very much that we're very much in standard shonen territory at this, especially this early on.
See, when I was watching anime like back in my prime, like we didn't even like the term. I knew like shonen sign and all that, but we didn't just use it, Like, so like that's where I'm coming from. Like, oh, there wasn't standard shonen yet. We didn't just have the bog standard press yet, Like, so, but yeah, so Gon saves the day, and like that's about it. And I guess go to episode 2. Episode 2 is tests of tests, and this is where all this nonsense begins. Like, there's so many fake outs and like all that. And out of the gate, the boat dude is like, okay, so Gon, you're a good kid. And I think he said he knew his dad or something like that. So he's like, yeah, so all this stuff is all BS. All of us be it. Like, don't even bother with what we literally told you to do. Which one's it? This is a government mandated test, right? And when they're lying to all the applicants out of the gate, and then going out of the goodness of his heart, goes to Leorio and Kurapika, right? Out of the goodness of his heart, it's like, oh, by the way, dude told me what's really up. Like, all this stuff's a trap that goes nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't have to do that. It's not like he was fated to meet these two people. So, like, out of the gate, the show could have ended for those two immediately. Like, am I crazy? Like,
No, I mean, like, I think you're right. Like, part of the Hunter exam is basically what it kind of boils down to a lot of the times is like looking underneath the underneath. I don't know if I stole that from somewhere, but it's about like using essentially your senses to be able to sniff out like when there's deception happening and when there's not. And there's a lot of that like later down in the Hunter exam, like constantly like you trying to figure out like is what someone's saying real or are they lying or what are they doing? And so that's where I feel like um Gon's like his really sharp senses really comes into play where he's able to tell a lot of that, and I think his attitude also just naturally makes it so that the people around him want to be honest with him and help him because he is kind of like the shining light of beacon
he
in
does
this
have like that
world
moral
that is
paragon kind of thing going on.
yes,
But even then, like, if
he
that
definitely
guy
does.
in the boat didn't tell him, he would have went on that bus to nowhere just with everyone else. The show ends right there.
Right, but you know he's a special chosen shonen
Yeah, because he's the
protagonist, so that's
chosen.
not gonna
We're gonna come
happen.
back because he keeps being the chosen one, right? And then
Hmm.
thank God he just had the prison lines like, oh, I met you guys in the boat. By the way, all that shit's BS. Let's go to the mountain together, like the top of the
Hmm.
tree or whatever it is. So we do that. And yeah, good thing Gon randomly tells Kurapika and Leorio, or they're just done on the spot. Is my notes. Okay, and hang on a second. I got my hot take notes. Oh, and I did miss this from my hot take notes. They did mention the Phantom Troop in the first episode.
Hmm.
And that is definitely built up to be like, that's a big thing. Like, we're going places with that. My understanding is
Hmm.
a lot of the characters from the fighting game are the titular Phantom Troop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct. A lot of the characters from the Phantom Troop are members of like the Hunter Nen Impact game, and also there's a lot of characters from really just the entire show. Actually, I would say I don't know the cast off the top of my head, but it's pretty even in terms of like the main arcs, like which character, like how many characters are coming from each. But yeah, I would say that's an accurate summation.
All right. And
But by the
oh,
way, something you said earlier, like you're talking a lot about like Gon being like this chosen one, and like obviously they didn't tell him about the bus, whatever, not being the right direction. They wouldn't have continued being in
yeah,
the
that would have been the
show.
end of the show.
But seems like to me you have a problem with that trope. But I think being like
I
having
like it
something
when
like that in a
characters
character is important.
are more, and this is once again my contentious opinions, right? I like it when characters are more meritorious. They do
Okay.
everything through their own deeds. They're not handed things. They're not, they don't have literally born with super strength and super, like, once again, I don't like Goku, right? Because Goku's Super Saiyan. He can just get hurt, come back, and then he gets Zenkai power up, and then he does it. Versus Krillin and Tien have worked their whole lives, don't get magic DNA powers from being Saiyan, and so therefore they fall off the show. Back when in the
Mm.
old Dragon Ball, Tien was a threat. He won one of the World Martial Arts tournaments, and then he eventually goes on to be a nothing character. Tien's my favorite character in old Dragon Ball, by the way. This is part where this all starts. Because he goes on to be nothing because he doesn't have the magic blood, you know?
Mhm.
And that cheeses me off. And thank God Piccolo's always at least one fusion away from being relevant for a while. So he has that at least. But that's kind of where I'm at. It's just, I like people who earn things. I don't like people who are given things.
Okay, I see. I see.
Yeah.
I also kind of see now why Evangelion is one of your favorite shows because Shinji is very much that type of
Shinji
character.
earned every effing thing that happened to him in that
Yes.
show. So
I definitely
all
see
those,
that.
because like, in case you don't know Eva, like they're all awful people. Every single one of those characters is an awful human being, and they all earned what happened to them. So that,
Yes,
yeah,
100%. With Gon, like I get that he has special powers about him that make him unique and different. And obviously, like if he hadn't heard the news he would have gone in the wrong direction, but that's part of it, right? Like part of the Hunter exam is also just sometimes like luck of the draw, right? Which like you see in the Tower arc and
Immediately,
things
like,
like that.
let's get into it. So immediately, like, okay, haha, those suckers are going on the bus. Like, we're not going on the bus, right? We're doing the right thing.
Mhm.
And then immediately, I got my note here. Dumb, 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 dumb test. Don't talk or die. And then immediately following that, because there's like a guy following him. He overheard him or whatever. Because this is the real test. And it's like, this guy's a bum. He's not in the fighting game, so I know he's not going to pass. And then it's just like an old lady. It's like, she's got like Jeopardy set up. And it's like, okay, answer my questions 3, and then I might let you be. And then, God, I can't remember the exact thing. It's like, but it turns out it's like war games. The only winning move was not to play.
Yeah, the question was specifically, if I remember correctly, like, would you save your girlfriend or like your wife or something like that? Like, you had to make a decision between saving one person or the other, essentially.
Yeah, and so the right answer was not to answer, which to me is still the wrong answer, because then you're saying, I let them both die. But apparently by the rules of the Hunter exam, once again, this is a government program. I'm going to stress this stretch along the way. This is a government mandated program to be a government official, right? And then like old lady with her magic questions, like, oh, you got the Sphinx, the Sphinx of the riddle, or riddle of the Sphinx rather. And like, haha, now I'll let you pass to the mountain. And they go in there, and this is where I immediately picked up, okay, this is all going to be bullshit going forward. This is like, I'm already there, right? None of this is legit. This is all like really bad Jigsaw from Saw tests. Like not necessarily always to the death, but it's always going to be fake outs and misdirections and all that. So we immediately go up to this cabin, right? And then there's like a hurt person. There's a monster there. And he's like, you can't catch me. And he runs off. And I'm like, this is fake. This isn't real. This isn't real. This absolutely is not real. This is not as it's presented here. I wrote down here, fake monster. And apparently, I don't get the track here, but Pirates of the Caribbean music. Oh yeah, because it's like dun 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 dun. Yeah, okay, that's what that music was. Yeah, that's where I wrote that down. And then of course immediately I'm like, I was correct in my assumption, because like it was all BS. But it turns out like they're all monsters. I guess that was the thing. And they didn't expect Leorio to like have like a doctor background, like actually patch the guy up. So like I'm misremembering a little bit, but like that was a little bit of a wrench, but it was another layer of misdirection, right?
Yeah, I mean, my main takeaway from all of this is essentially like it's just up to the individual person who is conducting the exams to decide like whether or not someone passes or moves forward, and it's totally arbitrary. And I think you're right in that like it's not fair. This world is not a meritocracy,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of other factors that come into play clearly when it comes to determine who's a hunter, who's not. But there are also so many people that want to be hunters that I feel like
it's definitely presented as like it's the ultimate job. Everyone wants to be a hunter, right? Like because they explained a bit, like when you're a hunter, you basically get to be James Bond. Like rules do not apply to you anymore. Money is infinite. Effectively, you can do whatever you want.
Yes, exactly. Like make a lot of money. Or
so it's like the ultimate aspirational job. So like obviously people want to sign up to be a hunter. That part I get. And like it's not this episode. I think it's like the next one or the one after. But then like we'll get into it. Okay, so they meet the monsters. They beat the monsters trial. And it's like, oh, you got us. Ha we tricked you, but you didn't fall for it. Good on you. Now the real hunter exam begins, right?
Oh yeah, baby.
The last 4 times we said this already, bullshit. Like, no, now the real one. When we go to episode 3. So episode 3 is Rivals for Survival. And I got here, the music plays. I did not get this music. I'm sorry. But it's like the music goes like, doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. It sounds like very like 1997 JRPG music. And it always hits me every time it plays. Okay. Man, I'm mean in my writing, aren't I? I'm looking at my hot take notes. I'm not being generous here. I'm not being generous.
I'm starting to notice a trend.
Yeah. So they get to like this like a hunter cabin or like a hotel or whatever, and they go underground. This is the running section. And like the guy's like, okay, you just gotta run for a very, very long time. And realistically, not too much happens in this episode. Or is it the next episode? There's a lot of running coming up, right? And then it's like, oh, now the real hunter exam begins again. And so I got here my hot take notes here. These tests are BS. Qualified applicants will not pass. You are legitimately qualified, like, to do whatever, but if it's just like a 400-mile run, like, not everyone's going to be able to do that. Qualified applicants will not pass. And then I do not know why I wrote this down, but I wrote DEI tests. So
okay, interesting.
I do not know why I wrote that down.
Hunter exams are woke.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. And so my other notes here. This is where my favorite character of the franchise shows up. I do. It's like 140 episodes, something. I very strongly feel I will not find a character I like more than this. And this is the God of Gods. I wrote here. My notes are the King of Gods. So just to not oversell it any bit, right? So that being Tonpa, the Rookie Crusher.
Oh, good lord, dude.
This
Tonpa,
is absolutely my favorite character by a mile. This guy knows what's up.
I thought you were about to say Killua, and I was like, yes.
Killua
like,
also, we'll get to Killua, don't worry. But this is the man. Like this. Look at this guy.
You like
So
him
the
'cause
context,
he kinda,
I guess, for those of you who
him.
don't already know the show, the context here is this guy is the Rookie Crusher. So he is here to make sure other people don't pass. Like he's just here to make sure like other people they won't, well, I guess it won't pass, right? And he's applied like 30 plus times. And he only applies to make sure other people don't pass, right? And like I look at this especially considering how dangerous we find out, like I think it's like the very next episode. We find out how deadly these tests get because they haven't gotten deadly yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like most are just wasting your time at this point. Like he's providing literally an essential service. Like he's saving people's lives by weeding people out. So like, but context is he'll pass people drinks, right? He's like he's got like orangeade. He's like, hey bud, what's up? Hey, oh yeah, this 100 stuff's hard. Oh yeah, well just take a load off, have my drink. And it's got like laxatives or poison or whatever in it. And then immediately it turns out, because once again everyone's the chosen one. None of this stuff works on nobody. Gon just drinks his like poison trap and is like, oh, that's good. And it's like, well, how come you're not well, he doesn't say it, he's not outright antagonistic yet, but like, what's going on? It's like, oh, I'm a mountain boy. I'm special. Poison doesn't work on me. And when we get to Killua, it's literally like, yeah, poison doesn't work on me either, bud. Like, the poison doesn't work on anybody, right? But the idea is that the Rookie Crusher is here to weed out the people who really, like, they want the money, they want the fame, but they really shouldn't be here. And that's why I respect him.
Do you find that he's a kindred spirit?
Hey, like, once again, fighting game guy, right? I teach new players for a living, basically, right? Like, I'm here to educate people for a living, and this guy gets to live the dreams I don't get to live. Instead of helping the rookies, he gets to crush them.
Oh man, you heard it right here, folks.
Like once again, my notes are he's the king of gods. Like I don't think I'm overselling of it. He provides an essential service. That's the way I'm looking at it. And like I like how it's just like he's obviously like no physical threat. Although like as we go like watch the episodes, like he can go. Like these tests are no joke, and he's here and he's done it 30 plus times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure he could pass if he wanted to. Like, realistically, like, if you can survive these literal death traps that are coming up 30 plus times, this guy is the real deal, for real. It's just he has a passion in life, which is crushing rookies. And that's, like, his real calling. He's not doing it for the money or the fame, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. He's doing it for the love of the job.
Love of the game.
Yes, and that's why I like him. Like,
Interesting.
when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, right?
That's I mean, clearly, I think you're correct in that, like, he could probably just pass the exams at this point if he really wanted to, but obviously he chooses not to. Um, I think the fact that they made him also, like, physically this, like, really old, like, kind of pudgy, kind of overweight guy kind of speaks to you know the intention of the mangaka, which is for you not to like this person essentially because they're kind of
Oh,
opposing
because
the
he's a
main
little bit heavier and he's a little bit
characters.
older. He's a bad guy. I see how it is. Okay.
Right. Well, not if you didn't like that. I
Yeah.
don't think
No,
I
no,
like
I got you.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's harmless. I guess like I don't hate him as a character, but I don't particularly see any value in him besides maybe being a minor antagonist for like like basically a minor threat against like, what is
I fully
essentially the
understand as we
goal.
go forward. I'm sure the show won't be based around him, which will make me very sad.
Yeah,
But
well, he's
I
not in
see
the
him
fighting
immediately
game,
out of the
so.
gate. I'm like, I like this guy. I like the cut of his jib. And this episode is very important because like this also is where Killua is introduced, and this is where Hisoka is introduced, right?
Mhm.
So Killua, out of the gate, he's kind of like, I can't remember if his first scene specifically with the Rookie Crusher or not. Is he like, oh yeah, poison, no big deal. He's like, by the way, I'm like a turbo assassin. Oh, and now the other thing I note here, or is this for the next episode? But regardless, I wrote down because this test is the running test, right? And like, there's an awful lot of fat people here for the running test.
I mean, they didn't know what they were signing up
Yeah,
for.
I'm just putting up like a lot of these guys were not going to pass. But yeah, so Killua, I've seen enough literature, even though I don't know anything, to know like he's Gon's foil, right? He's the other guy. He's the Vegeta to his Goku. Would you say that's accurate or?
I mean, I would say yes, but it's not like Goku and Vegeta where they have like an antagonistic relationship.
No, they definitely
They're
start
very
off as
much
like friends for sure, right? But like
Right. And
he's the other character.
Yes, he's like kind of like the what's the word duar? Oh my god, dutagonist, something like that.
I guess, yeah. Like,
yes.
like hopefully I did this right, like because I put like a Gon and Killua up there. Like, hopefully, like that makes sense. Like,
Yes,
and like he's not just
no,
written out the show 10 episodes from now. Like,
no, Gon and Killua, they're like best friends, and I think they bring out the best in each other. I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the show is just seeing their interactions with each other and how they genuinely are just like when you see them interact with each other and talking, like they're generally just kids with each other. Like they're not like hunters or having to be like these like beat up these crazy adults and go into these like insane situations. Like when they talk with each other, you feel like you're just talking to two children having a good time. And I think that's what's really charming to me.
yeah,
About
like he's definitely like the edgelord in comparison, right? Like, Gon's pure heart. Yeah. He's like moralistic, all that, and he's like, I'm an assassin. I've already killed like 400,000 people, and he's like 12 about.
Yeah, something like that, 10 or 12. I don't know exactly what.
So like it's almost like light and dark, right? Like that's how they're kind of building them up.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's one of the main trends we'll see in this series moving forward is it's very much like there's like there's a subversion that is constantly happening like with the characters, whether it be like one character with another or a character's appearance with their inner personality or, so be it. So I think really what the mangaka, I think Togashi is his name.
Yeah.
I might be messing that up. But yeah, but Togashi really sets up with this series is like a lot of that sort of that you can't take everything at face value. And so when you see the relationship, it's like something that's very charming and different and new, and it just feels very fresh because it is like one of the only things that are like feels true and right in the series compared to all the crap that's happening on the outside. So I don't know. They're very cute together. I love
it's a good pairing. It's a good pairing, right? And like they immediately just headed off. It's like, hey, like let's be friends. Like that's how they go. And then we also have Hisoka, and I do get the music here. So before we even talk about him, I just want to say his music is sassy. Very like got a good little salsa to it, right? Got like a desperado vibe a little bit.
I mean,
They got
There's,
the
some
guitar
cast-
going and like the staccato going on there, right?
Yeah, it's very like Spanish.
Yeah, very
music-esque,
Spanish, right?
Flamenco.
Yeah,
Yes, very
so-
flamenco.
And as for the character himself, like he debuts, like he just cuts off this dude's arms or something, like right out of the gate. Like, you know, like I'm not to be messed with. He definitely like screams villain out of the gate as well. Like, I think that's very apparent.
Yes.
What do I got here in my notes here? Oh, and we also met, wait a second here. Well, actually, we won't get too far here, but the notes. So, I wrote down here, I don't know what I gotta write down better notes. Guy who's in the game, Clown Man. I have multiple
I mean,
college
that's
degrees, by the way.
accurate. He's a clown man.
Yeah.
He's in the game.
And then I wrote down immediately
I'd say-
afterwards, Clowntergeist, which is a hell of a movie,
Clown-
by the way. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
so I
haven't
don't
seen
write
that.
good notes, is what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, so obviously established as a villain. He's got, you know, he's kind of like lean and mean, lean and dangerous. Like villains either come like turbo bulky dude or like skinny and like dangerous, and he's definitely like that mold. And like already out of the gate, he's like got the card. He's like, I'm the Joker, baby. And, like he's doing that kind of stuff. Like, again, like I want to see how much Joker's in this guy, because I feel like there's no way there's not any Joker in him.
Oh, no, 100%. I feel like he lives up to that expectation very much, whether it's like the way he dresses or it's kind of like where how you can never tell quite where his intentions are. You know, he's very much a wild card sort of character. And I think that's what makes him really interesting is that like as an antagonist, you never really know what he's gonna do. Sometimes what he does might be good for the protagonist, other times maybe not so good. But yeah, Hisoka is everyone's favorite. Like, I feel like it's like everyone loves the character, and also he's very well known for, you know, maybe being a PDF file, but
Okay, so that's the thing. So
that.
there's two things I knew, right, going in. I knew about bungee gum because there's no avoiding. You know, like I mostly kept clear, but I've heard about bungee gum has the properties of both bungee and gum. And people are very uncharitable about their descriptions of this character. Like, it's all I can say is like I'm sure there's a lot of episodes to go through. It's not in these episodes the things that people talk about, right? Like he does a lot of like oh Gon, like like kind of foppy kind of tone. But yeah, PDF file like uncharitable descriptions of the character. I guess we'll see where that goes, right? And the episode's coming up. He's definitely a threat, is what I'll say. He's definitely like effectively heads and shoulders above everybody else, like power wise, at least as it's presented.
Yes, 100%. I think the main presentation you get from this episode is that like he's a threat. He can take you out whenever he wants, and he won't blink about it, right? Because he doesn't give a shit about you. He's like a total psychopath.
Yeah, he's always like at least as he's presented. He's always 2 steps ahead.
Yes, very much a schemer sort of situation, like very much like a Joker.
He's smiling because he knows something you don't every single time, right?
Right.
Like Roddy Piper, I think got all the answers. He changes the questions.
I do very much like his design as well.
Like, it's a good design. Like it's very like I can't not say it's anime Joker, right? Like that's the way I'm reading it. But like it's a solid design. Like it's an effective look as far as I'm concerned, anyways.
Yeah, no, I find it really just like the juxtaposition between like him being a clown, which obviously is supposed to be something joyful. I mean, at this point, it's basically
clown culture is different these days. Like,
yeah, yes, very much. I mean, I don't know that much about it, but based on what little I know, it's definitely different nowadays. But I like also a little bit the fact that he's like a little bit like. What's the word? He's like a little bit like metrosexual almost. Like he's a little bit flamboyant.
He's definitely like very androgynous. Like
yes, androgynous. Yeah. He's got his own style. And then the way that he dresses and talks. So I think he's he's like a fabulous. I want to call him antagonist, but he's like a fabulous. What's a word like?
He's a foil.
I guess
it would seem the Gon.
Yes, like, foil antagonist.
Like the coming episodes, like they interact quite a bit. Like it seems to be like that's the primary. I don't even want to say necessarily antagonistic relationship. Like that's the the aspirational goal. Like that's where he's trying to get to, right?
Yeah.
I want to be.
I would argue that he's actually, in a lot of cases, he helps Gon, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get. It's like the one episode basically saves him, but the other character that's introduced, and I do not remember his name. I'm very sorry, but the Ninja Man.
Oh, Hanzo?
Is his name?
It is. Am I getting that wrong?
So my initial impression of this is this guy's the guy from Samurai Showdown, like Hanzo from Samurai Showdown. Like he has the same red cape or whatever you want to call it, like necklace. Well, not necklace, but around his neck, and like is visually very similar. Now the thing is, I do not know when Hunter x Hunter was originally made, so I don't know if like this character is actually based off of like this Hanzo is based off the Hunter x Hunter Hanzo. I don't know. That could very well be the case.
I mean, I'm sure Hunter x Hunter came out sometime in the 90s because it's a 90s ass anime. But I mean, it could also just be based off the historical figure Hanzo.
Well, there's Hattori Hanzo, but like there's a very specific look that like both these characters evoke.
That's fair. Looks kind of like I get like the Strider vibes too, actually.
And same. So yeah, so we got that. So this episode is mostly just like setting stuff up, right? So we show Killua, we show Hisoka, we show the Rookie Crusher, we show the Ninja Guy, and then basically it's like, okay, so the players for this next thing are set, and then we run. And I think there's a couple other characters like Computer Guy. It's like a bunch of bullies or whatever. Like they're very much read as like nothing characters though. So we go to episode 4, Hope and Ambition, and this episode, mostly for me watching the anime, felt like mostly like a nothing episode, like some exposure, because it's just run, and Leorio is struggling compared to everybody else. When it definitely looks like he has like the most runner's body of everybody, but whatever, I guess. Oh, I do got here. So my hot take notes are, run test, and Killua. This is where Killua was kind of like becoming friends with Gon. And I wrote goddamn kids and their goddamn skateboards. Because he like, okay, I guess I'll run with you. I won't use my skateboard anymore. Which it's good to have. Like, you didn't have to burn your legs.
He's just proven a point that he can run. He doesn't have to use a skateboard. He's badass,
But yeah, I've got here, so this is a lot of like Leorio and Kurapika bonding episode. When it's like, I know you're not shallow enough to just be about the money. And he's like, no, I'm just about the money. I just want the money. That's all. And it's like, no, it can't be about that, bud. And he's like, no, I'm not about that, bud. But then it turns out he wasn't about that. Because he wants to be a doctor. Right? And that's why he needs all the hunter money to become a doctor. Because like his friend died. But like, if he knew how to be a doctor, he wouldn't have died. I can't remember how that went. But like, he has like, high moral aspirations. I need the money to become a good doctor. And that's good. And Kurapika's like, the Kurta clan red eyes again. That sucked. Wish I wasn't one of those, I guess, because all my friends are dead. Like, that's all I got. I get like this, just like sad sack. Like, oh man, they kill us because we got red eyes. It's one of the 7 most beautiful colors, or something like that.
Yeah, the color of the eyes when they get excited, they're like scarlet.
Yeah, but they specifically, it's one of the 7 most like recognized beautiful colors in the world. I'm like, says who? Like what?
I don't know. It says the logic of the world, right? But yeah, I mean, I agree. It doesn't. When you say it like that, I don't think it makes that much sense. But it's just
my favorite color is purple. Like red's all right, I guess. Like. I won't, won't throw it out on the curb, I suppose. I don't know if it's the most beautiful colors in the world or whatever. But yeah, he's well, it's called the clan, but all the clan members like have the eyes, so like it's effectively like they're racially discriminated against because they're like getting killed for their beautiful 7th best color in the world's eyes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's his whole backstory, is that his whole clan was killed off for their beautiful eyes, and now he's basically on this big mission to become a hunter so that he can go and collect the eyes of his dead brethren back, right? He's like, it's like
and he wants revenge against the Phantom Troop.
Yes.
Yeah.
which we will see later on in the series.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a very, very big deal here. Oh, wait, I got my hot take notes here. Scarlet Eye, lore dump while running. 7 most beautiful color. What the fuck? It's not even purple. So there you go. See, I'm internally consistent. I didn't look at these notes ahead of time. I'm internally
And why is the color the thing you're getting like?
It's just the fact that like, they build up like, they specifically 7 most beautiful colors. It's this specific shade of red. And like, what metric? Who determined that? Like, is our government agency that determined that? I don't know. Or is it like built? It's like, no. My clan's got the best eye colors, actually. Like, you're not cool enough to be in my clan, but we got the coolest color.
Do you think it would be better if, like, oh, the Phantom Troop just killed them just to kill them out of a grudge or something like that? Rather,
I'm not even like concerned that they kill. It's just the fact that they quantify this color. Like, once again, I will hyperfixate on the dumbest things. Like, I'm not telling you I got a good argument or anything. I don't. It's just they present it in such a way, and I'm just like, what's going on here? You know, like it's a noodle scratcher.
That's they're just throwing it out there and just hoping that you accept it, right?
Yeah, like basically. But yeah, so a lot of running. Oh, and it is turned out that Leorio is a teenager like the rest of them.
Yes,
and like I think this comes up again later, and it's like it's actually true. But I'm like, this guy has to be lying.
No, I think he's like actually 18 or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think he said he was like 16 or something. I'm like, what? Like, I thought you were like 25.
Yeah, he's definitely looks older than he actually is, but I think it definitely helps because otherwise it would definitely be one of those situations where it's like an old dude hanging out with 12-year-old kids. It's not a very good look. So I'm glad that he's younger than he looks.
We're already watching anime. It's already not a very good look to begin with, right? So like, we're already
right.
Our hands aren't clean, is what I'm saying.
But again, I think it just speaks to that idea of like someone's outward appearance contrasts with like who they actually are, right? So again, that kind of like duality or contrasting effect in just like the appearance of this character.
Right. So at this point though, because Young Doctor, so it's a Doogie Howser story is where I'm looking at. And but other than that, like not too much happens. Like hell of running. I wrote here, I can't even remember what the note here. I said the rookie crutcher remains the best for shooting on that fat kid. Oh, I think he made him quit the run. The nerdy techno kid.
God, I'm trying to remember the details. But
I don't even remember. It's been a couple days since I was going to watch it, but I wrote it down. It was important enough for me to write down. So rookie crusher gets his. And we get to the end of it. And now this is where so we get to the end of it, and now the real Hunter test begins. Again, because now they're like in this mist land, right? And it's like, oh, by the way, you need to follow me. Like the butler guy is doing the run. It's like, you have to follow me to the letter, or you're all going to die. And then I wrote here, the man-faced ape shows up, because like there's like random perfect human doppelgangers in the wilderness that are looking to kill all these people. And then the first one's a fake, but then there's a second man-face ape who's like double dog dish, like, oh no, he's the fake, but I'm real. And then Hisoka just tries to kill everybody. Right? And so he kills all the fakers, but he doesn't kill the instructor. The instructor is like, oh, you survived my attack, so you're the real deal. And at some point in this episode, it's like, oh, Hisoka also failed the last test because he killed the instructor. Because he's a loose cannon.
Yes. He's a threat. And they're really letting you know now that like he ain't fucking around.
Yeah, and like he doesn't because he just goes to kill him. And if that guy wasn't on the ball, he would have killed him again. I guess he would have failed again, right?
Right. Yeah, and like I think the way in which he does it too, it's just so casual. You know, there's no build up to it. He just like throws the card at you, and like, you know, you're dead or you're not. So I think, I think it just kind of speaks to they're working to set up his character further. Yeah. But yeah.
And like to me, I was wrote, oh, he has gambit powers. Because he just throwing the cards and people die, right? But from there, next episode immediately after. Oh, and I wrote here also, Hisoka murders his way to the truth. Episode 5, Hisoka is sneaky. So this is where I pause multiple times during this episode. Because this is where the mass deaths begin. Right? So I can't remember the exact number they said survived to this point, but it's like maybe like 100-ish or something like that. And at least half of them have to die here. So, oh, I do have here in my hot take notes. There's a man somewhere and he has a little monkey with him. I'm like, oh, cool. I like that guy. So, yeah. So the idea is they're going through like this mist land and there's all these horrific monsters that will just actually kill you for real.
Mm-hmm.
Government approved job. Once again, I really want to stress this. And you can be just skilled enough to randomly BS your way to that point, right? No pre-approval, no whatever. I'm assuming you don't get a severance check from the government for dying. So like God knows how many families are forever ruined when they get to this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our mass deaths, government approved. And so my biggest take here is this. This episode is the eclipse from Berserk. I don't know if you know Berserk, but someone watching right now knows Berserk.
I have not seen Berserk. Do you want to explain it for me?
Okay, so Berserk, spoilers, I guess, but no, this also happened like so long. You know, fun fact, like some people are like, oh, I've been waiting so long on this Hunter Hunter manga. Like, yo, I read Berserk in the 90s, okay? I started reading Berserk in the 90s. And it's 2025 now, okay? So like, don't give me no sob story about how long you waited. Because I have been waiting a lot longer than you for my thing to end. Anyways.
Wait, is Berserk the one where like the mangaka passed away?
He just recently passed away.
Never gonna be finished. Okay.
Yes.
Damn. Well, we're gonna be waiting a long time.
My understanding is the sun's gonna take over, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, we will see.
But yeah, so in Berserk, the eclipse happened. It's just a bad moment where like basically it's where the show goes from like mostly just hard reality. Like there's like little bits of supernatural stuff, like little tiny bits, like very little, very, very little. And it's like mostly just not, it doesn't matter most of the time, right? And then literally like the overlay happens and we go to full fantasy. Like think like Conan the Barbarian, like almost no like it's the world, right? But there's very little like magic or whatever to like, no, this is Dungeons and Dragons now. That's what the eclipse is like the signifier of. And it's Berserk, so it's incredibly gory, incredibly violent. Almost every major character dies. And that's what happens here. The mist overlays. They're in the swamp now. And there's like dinosaurs, there's like plant monster, and everyone just starts dying left, right, front, and center. There's like punji, like there's like Vietnam punji traps or whatever for some of these. They fall and like get the spikes or whatever. And it's just mass death. Like actual mass death. Once again, government job, right? And the real Hunter test has begun here now. Yeah, it's the eclipse from Berserk. And I got my other notes here too. Yeah, eclipse from Berserk. Killer strawberry dinosaurs. Timo mushroom. Yeah, there's killer mushrooms as well. Mm-hmm. This is the eclipse from Berserk, but PG-13. The eclipse from Berserk is very rated. Especially from in the movies, it is like AO. Like, okay. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough.
I think what's interesting to me about this whole section is that, like, literally everyone else's reactions to all these people dying, like,
it's like, oh, we gotta keep going. We gotta keep like, oh, they just died. Whatever. We gotta keep going. No one cares. No, there's no like
exactly
appreciation of the loss of human life going on here. It's like they're all automaton. Like Gon, he's like he's supposed to be like this, plucky young, like moralistic character. It's like, oh, whatever. And like this is not the only time. There's a I don't remember if it's in the episodes we're gonna talk about. Like I watched just barely. Oh no, it's in the next episode, I think, with the spider eggs. But okay, I just really want to. There's no appreciation for the loss of life here, and this is what's blowing my mind. Like so, I'm sorry if I'm harping on this, but like. I really got to do it. Anyways, insane death happening. So what do we got here? Oh, Gon, I wrote here, he's the anti-Shinji. Because he can't run away. Because Hisoka is up to some nonsense, right? A bunch of the not baddies, but like the bullies, I guess, with the group. It's like, oh man, we got to take out Hisoka or he's going to like mess up all of our chances. And Hisoka like one shots all of them. Like they're nothing. And that's when
Mhm.
like kind of everybody else gets caught up. Like Leorio's like, you know, oh, I'm gonna fight you. And then he like basically one shots Leorio. And it's like, you didn't die in one hit. I guess you pass. And same with going like the heroes are no match for Hisoka. Hisoka spares everyone so he can save them for later. Basically, he's like, you're not ready yet for my big climactic battle. So like, I'll mess you up a little bit now, but like, come back at me later, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it just adds to this idea that like you don't really know what his intentions are. Like he'll kill people or he'll spare people randomly just on a whim. Essentially, he only does what's beneficial for him. So
Like I'll say
yeah, I
the
think it
guys
just
he
speaks to
killed,
that.
like he wasn't just gonna kill him. Like they were antagonistic first.
Hmm.
So he did act in self defense. Like I'll give him that.
Right.
But yeah, we go from there, and like he's got like a radio. He's got like a walkie-talkie. He's like, oh, I got a secret, but I got a man on the inside somehow, right?
Hmm.
We go from there, and Gon. He's proven like early on he won't go out. Says clown outclass him. I'll mention here. He has the adamantium fishing rod. His fishing rod. I know it's one of his moves in the game, the Nen
Hmm.
Impact. So I know this will come up more. But this definitely seems like part of his like. This is like his Excalibur, like. I feel like that fishing rod's gonna be like more of a thing later.
Uh, well, not well, spoiler, I guess. Not really. It's kind of just a tool that he uses in certain occasions. I think later on he kind of steps away from using the rod and relies
Okay.
more on like actually using Nen as his main power. But actually, one thing I learned in the 1999 anime, which I wasn't aware before, that is that rod I think used to be. I actually don't remember if they covered this in the 2011 one, but that rod used to belong to his father.
Oh, okay.
So he's carrying around like literally a weapon that, or fishing rod, I guess, that used to belong to his father, which is interesting. Interesting
It was like an
momentum.
artifact. I got you.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, no, but I think it's really cool. Like he uses it to very creative effect, right? Like he uses it to grab uh in the 19 oh god, now I'm getting the 1999 anime and the 2011 anime mixed up. He
Wires
uses to
crossed.
grab like Leorio's like suitcase, or like he uses it to like grab different people's tags in the Hunter exam. So but I think more so the pole is kind of like an extension of his like physical abilities, not really like getting superpowers
Okay,
off of
fair
it
enough.
or
Fair enough.
anything.
Okay, maybe I misread it. But they basically end up the episode is like they all got whipped, right?
Right.
And I wrote here he's Goku because he got whipped and he's scared. He's like, oh, but it feels good. Like, oh, I have an aspirate. Like I'm gonna get him someday. Like he's already like on the Goku journey, right?
Yeah, he has weird reactions, like not normal reactions where most people would be like, "Ah, shit, I just got my ass beat and I feel like shit."
Exactly. I wanted to. And once again, the Goku journey is not a good journey. Once again, Goku's my least favorite character in Dragon Ball because what happens is it leads you to criminally assaulting people. If you don't know the Manaka story, I guess watch Super. I guess, but like this is where the Goku journey. Like literally, he's feeding for any fight against people who do not deserve it. So
Yeah. I have watched Super. I do remember that happening.
yeah,
Although I don't exactly remember the context
the
behind
context was he
him
wanted to
beating.
fight him, and everyone's like, "Don't fight him, leave him alone." And he just pushed everyone out, and he decks him
Oh,
like a
but that's okay,
like a
now I remember.
crazy person.
Because they were like hyping him up to be like really strong and
Yes,
powerful so that like Goku would enter some like the tournament of power or something like, but
they're
anyways, like
already
they
on
were
the same
hyping
team.
him up.
He's already in the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament.
Ah,
And they're just
oh,
like,
that's
leave him
right.
alone.
Goku
Just
just wants to
please
fight
leave him
him.
alone. That's all they like. Don't touch him. And he's like, "Ugh," and he just swings at him. And of course, he's just a regular person. It's not a prank, but like it's a tactic they're using. And Goku
Right.
almost killed a regular human being. Well, an alien, but yeah.
Well, they should have picked someone better than to be their like
They didn't have
big
anyone else.
all
That's the
powerful
whoa.
person.
Nuance. His stance on killing, especially humans, has evolved throughout the Dragon Ball series. In the original Dragon Ball,
I don't know why it's doing
particularly as a
this. I didn't hit a button.
Goku was much more direct and sometimes lethal with his enemies, including Red Ribbon Army soldiers.
Yes, he killed a lot of Red
didn't
Ribbon,
always
by the
fully
way.
grasp the concept of death or the moral.
I do not know why it's doing this.
For example, he definitively killed King Piccolo and Tambourine.
Is it like a YouTube short or something? Like, why is it?
I don't know what's happening. I do not.
Accidentally caused the death of a human, such as the.
How do I stop this? What's happening?
We're going off the rails now.
Hey Google, stop.
Can you turn?
I haven't turned off my phone.
Down?
I don't know what's happening. That's insane. I do not know why my phone started doing that. I have not touched my phone at all. So weird. But anyways,
Google's
thanks for
listening.
backing me up a little bit there. Random phone AI, I guess. Anyways. So that's basically the episode. Is half the group dies immediately to like weird monsters. Once again, Berserk Eclipse. And Hisoka beats up the goodies, and they're like, oh, Leorio's like smart. He's like, oh, we probably shouldn't mess with him. And Gon's just like, no, you know what? I want to mess with him. Anyways, episode 6, a surprising challenge. And I was mad in this episode. This is where the Gourmet hunters show up.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately, like, once again here, so we did the run. And then it's like, okay, we went to run to like Squid Game's ass death battle. It's like, now you got to cook us food. Like the tiering on these challenges is not equal, right?
Right.
So there's that. And like, although there's still more random death to be had, although thankfully like people were better this time. It's like, oh, we want this specific pig. You got to cook us. And then it turns out it's like the most dangerous pig in the land or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, like, people are mostly equipped to fight the pigs. Mostly?
I mean, they're big ass pigs, but if they've gotten this far through like a forest of death of like all these
exactly.
crazy
Like,
creatures, they're qualified.
Like,
yeah,
they went from like difficulty 9 to difficulty 3. Like they skipped a level somewhere and did it backwards. So we have two gourmet hunters, Bohara and Menchi. And I don't know Bohara, but Menchi just means food. So her name's Food. And she's like sexy lady, and big guy's like 18 feet tall, 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, they do a really interesting zoom in, like right on her like boobs too during the episode. And I was like,
yes, and that's later
like,
here. What's the gentleman's name there? The chairman, Netero is his name.
Yes, Netero. Yes,
and he shows up random, and then there's just randomly like this huge perv shot out of nowhere, and the show's never done anything like that to this point. And at least as far as I have gone, doesn't do it again. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, what?
No,
what's going on?
I agree. That was very out of pocket. I don't know if that was like a decision of the anime team. I'm assuming it must have, because I don't think that a shot like that would be in the manga. But yeah, that was unhinged. I was like, why is this showing up here? But I mean, I agree. The episode itself isn't overly, I guess, interesting to me, and like the pacing definitely feels a little bit off, because you go from this like really high tense moment where everyone's dying down to like catching cooking ingredients.
That's the thing that's frustrating, is because like different, episode of the week gotta do the different thing, but it's just obviously like these are bad teachers. Like actually, because the fat guy just like, you gotta cook us something we like, right? And fat guy's like, I love it. Like you give him anything, he loves it, right? And she's like garbage. And like, it's obviously at some point she's just being antagonistic. She doesn't want anyone to pass. And even like all the like the B tier characters at this point are all like, this is BS. Like, what? You're not giving us a chance. And eventually the chairman guy shows up and he's like, no, you're not giving them a chance. Like, what are you actually doing? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And like, why? Like, I don't get it. Yeah, the only thing I get out of this, like, you're just a bad teacher.
It's I guess she was just having a bad day. But yeah, the tests are very arbitrary, so I definitely get the sense of that from this episode as well, where it's like, we like whatever dumb challenge that's remotely interesting to us or we want you to go through, like, we're just gonna have you do it. So I think that this episode kind of like, I don't know, epitomizes that essentially.
Okay, this is definitely not like the most egregious because we just had the monster murder episode, right?
Right.
But eventually, old dude's like, okay, give him a real test. And it's like, okay, let's go for what do they call it? Spider eagles or something like that?
Spider eggs, something like that. I don't know if there's like spider bird eggs or something like that, but they're spider eggs.
Just a note here, my hot take notes for the episode. I did rookie killer sighted. I was very excited for that. Chairman was sitting on a chair on brand. Fair enough. I did it right here. Girl's a bitch. I was not very happy with her at that point. Staring at boob shots. What? Spider eagles. And then, okay, so they're doing the setup for the spider eagles. You gotta like jump in, grab the egg, and then like this like gust of air will put you back up on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, we just followed your example. So teacher teaches, we emulate, we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then my next note is here, guy just fucking falls to his death. What? Because they didn't say like, oh, this Gus is like on a very specific interval. So guy just does as he was shown by the teacher, and then he just falls to his fucking death. And nobody blinks an eye. Again, I don't know if this is going to be the recurring theme throughout the whole show. Nobody blinks an eye. A man just died for following the instructions that were given. And I was like, oh, you had to wait for the thing, stupid. Like they even knew that was a thing. And the takeaway is, oh, I guess we have to wait. And like, guy just died. I don't know. And like, eventually they get the spider eggs. Like, they do the thing. They pass on to the next round. But like, what?
Yeah, I think my takeaway from this episode was that like it's just the same as like what else has been going on. Whatever they tell you, like you're not supposed to entirely listen to that. Like you have to use essentially your own senses and your own wit to determine if that is the right thing to do. Although I do admit in this context it was a little bit weird because it's normally not quite like straightforward as it is, like go in and get the egg. You know, normally there's like some crazy task ahead of them. But yeah, I think that's, you know, I'm just getting more of that from this episode essentially. But yeah, I don't really like the two Gourmet Hunter characters, and I do think the writing in this episode was a little bit maybe not as strong as it could be. Because yeah, I don't really get like why they made part of the test, like why they made them fail it and then
it's
get
just like
back up.
I don't mind the big guy because I always root for the big guy. That's just how I am, I guess. But it's just like, considering you've now shown like death is of no consequence, you people will die during this, and you give them a teacher that's actively antagonistic against them on such a low stake thing. So like, you ain't making my grilled cheese the way I like it, so you don't get to be a hunter. Imagine if James Bond couldn't fight for His Majesty's service because like he made the grilled cheese wrong. Like that's not a skill. Like I don't know. Like they do it. They get the spider eagle eggs. Like they like the one guy quits because like at this point like that episode ends with like a couple people are like, you know what, this is dumb. We're quitting. And like, you know, I got my notes. You're not wrong to quit because this is actually BS.
Yeah. No,
So,
I agree 100%.
So we're going to go to the final episode we're going to cover here. Episode 7, Showdown on the Airship. So we're going to stop here just because I feel like it leads to the next arc if you want to do it. But the whole time watching this, like the Hunter exams, this is like some of the most insane things I've ever watched. The fact that like so many people are dying, nobody cared. This is all a government job, right? And like, how many thousands of people die a year for this? I know you do not have an answer, so don't ask, don't feel like you have to give an answer here. But it just drives me nuts. But episode 7.
Well, is it okay? This is random, but is it a government job or is it just something that? Because I think there's a hunter association, so I think that.
But they have like they have like international, like maybe it's not the government, like it's James Bond powers, effectively. Like
right,
it is presented to me, at least where I'm at, it is presented to me like when you have the hunter license, you have the golden ticket to do anything you want. That's how it's presented.
No, I I think that's accurate, but sorry, just maybe I'm like getting too hung up in the wording, but like I don't think it's like a government organization. So it's kind of like if you want to join our ranks,
They
like, they're
work
an
with the
elite
permission of the
organization.
world's governments at the bare minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They do that. So yeah, I do feel like it's not a government organization, but yeah, you're right. They definitely work with them. But because they're a private organization, they can just do like if they want to do these arbitrary tests, like they can do whatever hell they want.
I guess
and
it's
maybe
just
there's
the amount of
signs
death.
liability.
Like,
yeah, it definitely
just
is a lot though, and they don't they brush by it. You know?
More people die in this episode too. This is like they're not even doing it; they're just going from point A to point B, and more people die in this episode too. Killua kills like 2 guys for giving him the evil eye. Basically, he's like, "Oh, you're a dumb kid." And he's like, "Oh, well, you're actually dead." Like he does like this like ninja chop, and they both die or something like that. On this airship, someone has to clean up the bodies. And once again, he's not reprimanded in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. No one talks to him about it. It's never brought up again, as far as I know. Just everyone's so okay with death in this show. I understand. Yeah. Maybe it's a hard world out there, right? I don't know, but yeah, they go on the. I'm going to focus on this forever. We don't get through it. They go on the airship, and it's like we're going to this next place. The chairman has this weird little buddy. A second here. I'll bring up the multimedia cam. So, Hunter, Chairman Bean? Little Bean Buddy.
Oh, yeah. He's
so,
cute. He's like a little passive character.
There's like definitive non-humans in the setting as well. And like, there's definitely like people like, not regular proportions for sure. Like has that like 14-foot dude, right? But like I just saw that. I'm like, oh, there's like a green Martian here.
I mean, you knew already that there was a cat girl. Like
yeah, but like that's within the realm of anime, I guess, ish. Versus just like I'm a little green dude, right?
Yeah, he's really cute though, right?
Yeah. And this is a good Tonpa episode because like okay. We're just going point A to point B. We're going to do more tests or whatever. Like, they're setting that up. And Tompa's like, oh, man. You know, there's like, get your rest. And Rookie Crush is like, oh, no, get your rest now. But you're like, who knows when we get there? You rest now. They sleep through it. They're not going to get you. And, you know, he's just like, dumb rookies. And, of course, Leorio, like, he doesn't even, like, do it. Like, he just sleeps immediately. Like, he's just warned, like, don't sleep. And he just sleeps immediately, so like he's done.
Yeah, no one believes him. Basically, they're pretty much they know what he's up to.
Yeah, he's got to get this rest. And he's like, I psyched him out, but nothing happened. And this is also where we get the Killua lore dump. Killua's from a family of assassins, so you already like got the idea, like you know he's strong and all that, right? But it's like, yeah, my family is assassins, and like if I get a hunter license, then I can hunt my own family for money.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is he basically doesn't want to be part of his family. Like, he doesn't want to go down the route that his family has set out for him. So, yeah, his whole goal in coming here essentially is to, like, kind of like rebel against his parents.
Yeah,
like
he's definitely got the screw my parents vibe, right?
Exactly.
Oh, and there's some Hisoka here. I can't remember the exact. He's just like brooding. He's not really doing anything. He has like really an aura around him. So I wrote here, Clown Darkness. Oh, he's the Joka baby. Once again, this will be I do not write good notes, but he's just there like looking cool, basically, but he didn't actually do much. But the main takeaway I had from this episode is like they're going from point A to point B, and this is where Chairman Netaro, who I think is in the fighting, he's the old guy in the fighting game, I think.
Yes.
So he's definitely of some import, and they have like a little bit of a game, have a little bit of a challenge. Mm-hmm. It's like he's like holding a ball in one hand. It's like if you can make me use my other arm, you win. Mm-hmm. And he kind of ropes Gon and Killua into this, right? They're gonna have a little adventure to see if they can do it, and it's very clear that this doddering old man is another superhuman, effectively, because they can't even begin to touch him.
Right. Really just
And
showing the gap between like a hunter and like someone who's just taking
yeah,
the
exactly.
exam,
Like this is
essentially.
what a hunter can do, and you guys are still just dumb
Mhm.
kids. And like I can't remember the exact setup, but they like, okay, we have like 12 hours till we land, so we're gonna use all 12 hours to like make you do this. Which
Yes, I think it was something along those lines, like until we land at our
yeah,
destination, like I'll give you until when we land to like take the ball from me.
which is generous of his time, I guess. He's a chairman; he's probably got things to do. But
Well, he said he
you
was
can tell he's
bored,
having
I
fun
think.
with it too, right? He's having like
Yes,
all
I
these
think he said he was.
whippersnappers, right? And both the kids, like they can't even be like, he's so far out of the league. I
Mhm.
did like eventually they're like doing tag teams to the point where they just eventually give up and they just well, tag team them and they go 2 versus 1.
Mhm.
They still can't touch him. But then Killua, and maybe this is a character trait I noticed, he gives up. They
Mhm.
do it for a while and he's like, oh, this is too hard. I don't want it anymore. But Gon's still
Mhm.
down and he keeps going, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
don't know if, like, once again, this could be a character trait that comes up later, but is Killua a quitter?
I think you're right on the money with that. You're definitely headed in the right direction there. So, not to get too much into it because it is a
Oh
spoiler
yeah,
for
no
the
spoilers.
future, but part of it's his personality, and there's another reason for him kind of giving up quickly. But yes, you do see kind of the initial signs of him giving up when he like thinks he's outclassed, essentially. And again, it's like a foil to Gon, essentially, where Gon never gives up, and
Yeah.
he's like finding the fun in all of this, and like trying to make up new rules to get Netero to, I don't know, use his other arm or whatever. Because I think the goal, actually, now that I'm remembering it, the goal was to take the ball away from him.
Yeah, he's like
And
holding the
then
balls.
the
Like either
goal,
like make me use my
right,
arm or like get the ball or something like that.
right, and then the goal afterwards, when they realize they can't get the ball, Gon shifts the goal to, oh, I'm gonna make him use his other hand.
Yeah, that's
right.
it.
And I think most normal people would have just been like, oh, fuck this. Like I would have been in Kila's boat. I would have been like, dude, I'm done. I need to get my sleep. I've
Well,
been
yeah,
like
they're obviously
literally
outclassed,
running through
right?
the forest this day. Right. But yeah, no, I think it serves as a good introduction to Netero and like just how outclassed they are
Yeah,
by
and
him.
I do have here, this is my largest singular note, because how he does get him, he's basically like, I'm going to do a headbutt that's so big that like you actually have to react to it. But he's like, Gon also might just kill himself doing it. And then he's like, oh, maybe he'll live. And then he just avoids it. And I just wrote here, Doskoi! Because he goes for like the big sumo headbutt. Once again, folks, there's going to be a lot of fighting game talk here. So that's Honda's headbutt. And then I wrote here immediately afterwards, he's dead. Because he just headbutted the steel wall and just slumps over. But in the dodge, he made him use the other hand to dodge him, right?
Mhm.
So that's like how he won. And then he like comes like conscious, like he's like, did I win, coach? He's like, and he's like, yeah, you got it. He made me use the other hand. So like, so he's once again, he's the chosen one because he can make this like legit. I'm assuming like has to be one of the top guys on the planet because he wouldn't be the chairman otherwise, right? And he can best him in a little game out of the gate. And
Yeah,
so we end up the
that's the
episode.
potential.
Oh, sorry.
Mhm. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, that's the potential that, like, also Hisoka saw and Gon, like that
Yeah, so
ability is
they're
like a
definitely
special
like,
chosen power.
he's the chosen one, like for different means. Like I'm sure he's like, oh, he'll be a great person in my organization. And Hisoka wants like, I don't know, he wants him strong enough to have like a death battle or something. I don't know that it's going. That's where it feels like it's going. But it's mostly it.
Mhm.
Until we get to the tower, which I wrote down. Dragon Ball arc, enter Korin's tower, which it definitely. I'm not sure how long it is, but like tower definitely feels like it's more than a few episodes. I just scrolled down my notes here. So there's another time. I think I'm gonna write this down for every time Hisoka shows up. This is a later note for another episode, but I wrote it's the Joka baby. So I'm gonna write that every time. But yeah, so that's the first 7 episodes of Hunter x Hunter, and we definitely talked a lot. But yeah, so my opinion, I'm having fun. Like I'm not liking it. I'm sure I'm gonna like it more, but like, as a person who has non-standard opinions, I did have like an initial feeling of like Gon's the child of destiny kind of feel. Like he cannot fail. He will always surpass everything. Like he didn't beat Hisoka right away. At least there's that. And obviously he wasn't a physical threat to the chairman immediately. Although I feel like we're gonna get there because you can already like match him on like the weird little game. So like there's gonna be like a lot of Dragon Ball power scaling, at least in my opinion. I don't know. And Rookie Crusher is by far the best part of the show. I'm looking forward to more rookies getting crushed. Because once again, given how deadly this shit is, he's providing an essential service. Once again, he's done it like 30 plus times by their own reckoning. They mentioned it multiple times. He's done it the second most of anyone in history. And he's done the most consecutive of anyone. So like, he's actually good. He could pass this stuff if he wants to. He chooses not to because he's an artist. And he lives for the art.
The good news is that you'll see plenty of him in these next upcoming episodes in the tower.
That's good.
So you'll get plenty more of the Rookie Crusher if you like him, which
I'm looking forward to like 100 episodes from now. He shows up again and it's like, huh, I guess the rookie made it this far now, huh? And he like unveils his true power. I don't think that's gonna happen though.
Yeah, he's not in Hunter Nen Impact, so I'm not so sure.
We got 3 more DLC slots.
That's true. That's true.
All I know is come the game, I'm setting my profile icon to him for sure. He's got to be on there. But yeah, so that's where we're at. So and that I guess is this episode of Gon With The Wind. So we're aiming for roughly an episode a week. We'll cover anywhere from like 5 to 10 episodes per episode. This episode I feel is gonna be longer because like we're talking a lot about the characters. We talked about a lot of like who they are. Now that like we kind of established who they are, we don't need to like talk as much about like who they do, our motivations, what they do. Blah, blah. We can get through the episodes probably a bit quicker than this going forward. And we're here for the long haul. So stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. Check out the socials. If you're listening to the audio only version, which hopefully I did. If not, this makes me look stupid for saying it. Subscribe on whatever feed I got it on. I don't know. It's not done yet. Combo Breaker's right around the corner. You're going to Combo Breaker, right? Still?
Yes, I will be flying out tomorrow morning. So I know a lot of people came in tonight, actually, when we're recording this, but I will be there tomorrow. So
all right, this episode is probably going up after Combo Breaker's done. So I guess next episode we'll have Combo Breaker stories. And I think we'll both be at Evo, right?
Yes. Yeah. Evo America. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So maybe we'll have a special Evo branded episode where we'll be in a hotel room doing this or something. I don't know. We'll get there. But yeah, so lots of fighting game fun stuff to go. Check out the YouTube channels. Check out the Twitter. For both. My arm. I do this like my arm was going to show up on your feed. It doesn't work that way. So you got to do that so they know. There we go. Yeah. Now they know. So check us out, and until then, my friends, that was Gon With The Wind, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching or listening.